Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Silver and Black Coffee Hour, a San Antonio Spurs podcast based in Austin, Texas. My name is Tom Petrini. I cover this Spurs team here and for Spurs on SI. And I'm here with my friends Aaron Blackerby and Zach Montana to ring in the new year. Uh, Aaron, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm great. It's 2026. I've already had my good luck foods with my wife. We did a little polar plunge over at Barton Springs, and we've done our ins and outs list, and we collabed on each other's this year, which felt really great because I don't think anybody knows me better than my wife.
That is probably got to be a really intimidating process, I would think. You know,
Why?
like I I feel like if I did that, it would be like I actually kind of like there was one year I've been bald for exactly 2 years, and I know that because on January 1 of 2024, Jess was like, we were talking about like things that we were gonna do in the new year. And she was like, maybe this is the year you like just shave it all off. And I was like, and now I'm bald, and it's great. She was so right. She was so right. But but it was a very humbling conversation because it was like, man, I thought I was fooled. She was like, no, man, you're bald. It's time to admit it.
We didn't have anything like that. If anything, she loves my hair, so
Well, because you've got great
yeah.
hair. And speaking of great hair on the dome and on the face, Zach Montana, how are you feeling, buddy?
Better than last week. Last time we recorded under the weather, but feeling better. It's 2026. Got to ring in the new year. Got to see the fireworks, and no complaints on my end. Let's start off fresh and let's attack the year.
Hey
I
guys,
like that. I
I
like
know
that
we're
mindset.
gonna
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we're gonna get into questions, later, but just to kick this off, what's a New Year's resolution you guys have for the podcast?
For the podcast specifically, I feel like this 2026 is going to be my year to really get fan on the street stuff, boots on the ground. My resolution this year is to be a lot more active when I'm at games as a fan and as a reporter. So that is my resolution this year is to you'll hear me a lot more in media and you'll see me a lot more on the streets.
I, we should do like a gonzo journalism in with the Jackals. I want to spend a night with the Jackals.
Oh,
Uh,
we're just gonna hide. We're gonna put our media badge up and
we're
sneak in,
we're
infiltrate.
I don't
there'll be no sneaking. It'll be completely above board, but like I gotta hang out with those people, and
Are you going shirtless? How are you? What do you? What's the
that's the thing
approach?
is like if we're going true
If I was Tom, I would paint your entire head
Oh,
a silver and black basketball,
oh,
and I would have the Jackals dribble you uh around
we
their
fucking
section.
the reverse
And so
kangaroo.
yeah,
like
so
I'm
like
bouncing like
when
this. Yeah, I love
No,
it.
exactly,
no,
yes.
I
we
love
And
it.
we
like when a
pick you
free
up.
throw happens, they like grab your head and they
Yeah.
like shoot it like
No, we
yeah.
literally pick Tom up, one person on one foot, one person on the other, and we bounce him up. Like that's the free throw distraction is we're bouncing Tom
I
up
like
the
this.
It's not
stairway.
a
I
bad
like this.
idea.
Because
Tom, what's
like
your resolution podcast resolution though?
um, I resolved to uh add more uh rich media and production value to this production from Boris Yeehaw. I also uh want to be goofier, you know? This is a place for goofing around. And
So New
also
Year's goofing instead of new boot goofing.
New Year goofing. And I don't know, we do have like very good and substantive and important conversations about Spurs basketball on here. But I don't know. The thing I love about this triumvirate here is the sheer level of innate goofiness is really hard to replicate anywhere else on God's green internet. So I I want to lean into that. I want to have some fun, and I think part of that is going into that Jackal section, but it can't be like, you know, I can't just be there with the notepad like, oh,
No.
the Jackals did this. I've got to have it's got to be tarps off. I've got to have, 3 to 7 Modelo's in me, you
Mm.
know, to properly do that story. Like I've got to go Hunter
Hidden
S.
camera.
Thompson full
Gotta have like
on
a hidden
like,
camera.
doing like living like the Hells Angels.
Mm.
Full
Yeah,
gonzo.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, investigative
AB,
journalism for
yeah.
Spurs on SI.
AB, what's up with you?
I love
What
it.
do you what's your resolution for the old 2026?
Man, podcast resolution for 2026. Um, I just want to focus on process over goals, and that's always a good one. I think in my ins and outs, I said my outs was going to be numbers. And so, yeah, I just, to Tom's point, I want to bring in more goofiness. Um, we're really blessed to be covering a team that's really good. You know, this is kind of something I think I've talked to both y'all, but it's been a little, we're not at the quite the halfway point, but we're approaching it, and it's like, wow, we're coming up on halfway through the season. This team's good, and the energy of the podcast itself, I think, kind of like reorients itself around that as well, and definitely see and feel the energy, going to the games with fans and everything. So, and further, as far as the resolution, I want to make sure that like I'm supporting you guys in y'all's resolution. So if Zach, you're like, I gotta go get my hot dog, my Alamo dog before then, I'm gonna be like, bro, have you gotten some man on the street shit yet? And you'll be like, no. I'm like, go talk to the person that's also getting the Alamo City hot dog behind you and be like, okay, which one of us is gonna have diarrhea first?
But god damn it,
Tom,
that Alamo City hot dog is so
yeah,
good.
yeah, Tom, you
I
want to be more goofy on this show, brother? I'm ready to like. We'll have the podcast Lob City here, man. Allow me to be the Chris Paul to your Blake Griffin, or maybe this is a great way to pivot into the game recaps real quickly. Allow
so
me
before
to
we
be the Steph
do,
Castle to your Wembanyama.
no, the Steph Castle to my Luke Cornett, who
Luke
is
Cornett, yeah.
goofy, but also like a really excellent lob threat. But before we talk about the games, before we talk about the injury news uh, that has affected multiple Spurs starters, you said something there in your ins and outs that I think reveals that you've been spending time around Mitch Johnson, uh,
Mm.
and that's
Dude, a
the
lot.
process oriented mindset. Um, you cannot control if the ball goes in the hoop for the most part. All you can control is what led up to that, and that's something that we have heard a lot this week, as the Spurs have really struggled to put the ball in the hoop, really in all of these 3 games. The first 2 disappointing losses to the Jazz and then the Cavs. And then that trend of poor shooting continued into the, you know, end of the first half against the Knicks, and it looked like more of the same. And the shooting was pretty rancid for the Spurs, except for Julian Champagny, who set a franchise record for made threes. Before we talk about the games, we are recording this on Thursday, January 1st. It is currently 4:50 p.m. We waited to record until this point because we were waiting to hear news about Victor Wembanyama and his hyperextended left knee. Uh, Suffered that injury in the fourth quarter against the Knicks. Uh, he was testing it out and wanted to come back in the game. He said that the Spurs had to hold him back pretty much. Spurs win the game. Comes out at the end to be with his teammates. Uh, I was not expecting to get any official word about his injury last night. I was not expecting him to come to the podium. I expected him to be like, you know, even if he was totally fine, tucked away somewhere. Uh, and then he came out and said, I'm all right. Ran some tests. I hyperextended it. That was the first time we got official word on what this injury was him saying it to reporters. Um, he said that, you know, he felt good, and when asked if he thought he was going to miss a lot of time with it, he said, "I feel like I could probably go next game. I expect to be ready to go for next game." And then he kind of pauses for a second and says, "I don't know what they expect," uh, and he knew what they expected, and that news just broke that Victor Wembanyama will be out for this game in Indiana. Did not travel for the game with the Pacers. Is home getting more treatment. And rest, and he will, according to Mike C. Wright, he is expected to be listed as questionable for Saturday's home game against the Portland Trailblazers, which is interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah, interesting level of detail. Um, and I kind of want to start here just with Vic overall, because it's an interesting. I don't know. It's something that I've noticed. It's something that kind of leaps out, especially as somebody who's covered this team for a long time. Uh, the level of media training, the level of verbal opsec that happens in that room. Um, Victor Wembanyama is does not care about any of that, dude. Uh, like he he knows what he's supposed to say and what he's not supposed to say, and a lot of times he'll say the thing that he's not supposed to say because it's something he wants to say. Like, I expect to be out there for the next game against the Pacers after I just hyperextended my knee, which is a hilarious concept that he thought that if if there was any part of him that thought the Spurs would be like, yeah, dude, let's do that.
Well, I mean, Tom, to your point, there was also after the Cavs game. Uh, and this isn't like about speculating on anything. This is sometimes I think like English is his second language. Also, he's 21 years old. He was born after 9/11. I mean, like this is someone who has grown up in the age of the internet. So sometimes I think there is just a little bit of a troll aspect to it. Um, but after that Cavs game, talked to Mitch Johnson asking about what was going on offense, and he was like, "Hey, we had anxiety on offense." And then asked question back and to Victor after that game, he was like, "I wouldn't call it anxiety." So I don't know if there's like a language barrier to that or anything, but just something to kind of think about there as far as like what is he saying compared to what the rest of the team is saying.
The year is
In
20.
So,
It's 2003, and Tim Duncan just rolls his ankle and walks to the podium and announces an injury to the world. This isn't the old Spurs, fellas. This is, and we've seen Victor's been pretty hands on about these things with injuries, with his DDT, with the blood clot last year. The way he talked about it in the season in April, it was kind of the first time that we had gotten any information, and it was from Vic. And then again, last night, sitting at home, I didn't expect to see Victor on the bench after that happened, nor did I expect to see him on in the podium in the media room afterwards. And people are tweeting he's in the room, and I'm play by play that knee bent, and as someone who's hyperextended their knee before, it was as a resident bad knee person on the show, I was like, oh no. And then all the process plays out, and I have friends texting me like, yo, what's the deal? Like, I don't know anything. I'm just as scared as everybody else. And then he's on the bench in slippers. I do want to make a funny point. I think the only reason he was back allowed on the bench by the Spurs medical staff is if he put his slippers on, because he would have tried to find his way back in the game.
I
that's a good
I
point.
got sort of a quicker indication than most people watching at home that he felt like he was okay because the Spurs tunnel is sort of right below our seats where we're at. And as he sort of hobbled into the locker room, he, kind of was waving and kind of shaking his head, saying, "I'm all right," to the fans, which I thought was cool and interesting. Um, but yeah, so dodged a bullet there. That's some good news. Um, let's talk about these games because they were interesting, right? Coming off the heels of back-to-back wins against the Oklahoma City Thunder, including going into
Couple
Oklahoma
people
City.
on this couple people on this podcast were like, they're not losing another game this season. Someone was like, they could go, they maybe lose 8 games the rest of the year,
73
like
and
there's
9. Why not? Why not 74 and
yeah.
8 or even higher
I
numbers?
mean,
You know,
like dare
Hey,
to believe.
don't
the
don't
Spurs
But
are
don't knock yourself for riding the high, fellas.
the Spurs are going to
no, no,
be
no.
favored in most of the games that they play for the rest of the season. I wager that they will probably lose some games that they are favored in, and it happened to be two similar, ugly, stinky,
Zach,
bad losses.
what do you got on the Jazz game?
Well, I do want to touch on one thing. Go back to a previous episode, not the last episode, the episode before. I did say 3-1 that week, and y'all said, "Oh, they're gonna lose to OKC." I said it's gonna be to a team that y'all don't expect them to lose to, and it was the Jazz. So to say I don't have a hand on the pulse of this team is a lie. Next is a
Saying
lie.
that,
Is a lie. No,
But
no,
no one's
I'm
saying you didn't have a hand on the pulse, but you also said in
I
the
did.
last
I did.
episode,
No, no,
don't
no, no.
introduce a vibe to
Just
you that you can't maintain.
well,
So
see, well there we go. Well, they did maintain it against the Jazz. It was you know, it was interesting. You go into that Sunday game and you're like, what are we gonna see from these boys? They got to create their own energy. We know the Jazz are a very hot and cold team. You don't want to catch them on a hot night, and that's what the Spurs did. The Spurs caught them on a hot night, and that's unfortunate. The Jazz shot 16 less shots than the Spurs, but hit 7 more threes on the night, and that's kind of your indicator that it's a weird wonky game. In that second quarter, the Spurs went down double digits and really had to fight to get back. We had a massive Wemby dunk there in the fourth quarter, one of the stronger ones we've seen. I don't know if you've ever seen an airplane land on an aircraft carrier where they had the hook out and it catches. Wimby's like the rim is like that for Wimby. He goes so it's not like he's up. He goes at the rim, so he needs something to slow him down. And we've seen multiple dunks this week of that magnitude where it's like, oh my god, this is an F-35 landing on the USS Lincoln right here. This is unbelievable. But
Zach, you're asking if I've seen the
I
arrested
know,
tables,
I know,
bro.
I know, I know,
You
I
know who
know,
you're on
Mister
this show with.
F-14 Tomcat over there. But the
mm,
old Tomcat himself. But so that's how the game went. Wimby played great. Steph Castle played great, and Keldon Johnson played great. 23% from three from the Spurs, though. Recipe for disaster, my
yep,
boys.
and look, that kind of continued into the game against the Cavs. Cavs shot lights out from three. Once they started going, it wasn't really at the beginning of it. They also took 13 more shots than the Spurs in this game. Darius Garland, while didn't put up like a big stat line, I just thought was able to match speed for speed more with De'Aaron Fox in this game. And look, the other thing that I think the Cavs did was they really implemented the OKC playbook with where to attack them. And that was in the corner threes. And instead of having a guy like Alex Caruso go 2 for 11, you had other Cavs players like Dean Wade going lights out from there. And I think it was like in the fourth quarter at some point, I was like sitting next to Tom and I was like, yeah, if they hit a three here, this is basically over. They at least shot a three and it was close. And I was like, oh man. But yeah, anxiety on offense. Another one of those, like, it seemed like Victor put up some good numbers, but he got hit a lot. And our own Tom Petrini asked him after the game, hey buddy, how's your body? And he's like, I'm good. I'm like, all right. Um, so I'll kind of leave it at that. What's up, Zach?
So,
AB, I do want to give you a lot of credit. Like I do, I don't want to take away from your hand on the pulse, because I'm saying my hand's on the pulse. Your hand, you were so close to it being on the pulse. You were one game off. You called an off the backboard alley oop to Vic, and it was one game off. I saw it happen. I was like, damn, he should have said this week.
I should have, Steph Castle
You
is becoming
did
quite the lob.
anticipate that. Yeah. Oh,
Dude,
Steph's
you
been
play in teams
fantastic
that
at
like
lobbing.
turn the you play in teams that have, high turnover rates, like it's gonna lead to fast break points.
Yeah.
This ain't rocket science. But anyway, Tom, you were at the game last night, which I mean, do you think that was another quote unquote inflection point? It was the championship for December,
Mhm.
for the best record in the league. Um,
Yeah.
so against our now formidable foes in the East, the Knicks.
Yeah, there's a bit of a rivalry developing between these two teams, which, I'll talk about that part more in a minute. But as far as this game goes, um, it did feel bigger, right? You look behind you when you're talking to Mitch Johnson and Mike Breen's there, and Monica McNutt and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, this is an NBA TV game. This is like, you know, maybe two of the best that are not the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? Um, you could argue, you can make an argument for either of them, um, and so. You have that. You have the recent history. You have the recent history for the Spurs of they've lost two games. They've basically been, you know, Mitch Johnson has not been wanting to talk about those losses as well. We just shot bad and they shot good, and that was the game. He talked about the process. He talked about honoring the basketball gods. You know, Keldon Johnson talked about pounding the rock. Like it was all very like going back to ancient Popovichian wisdom, right? And now you got to test against this very good team, and they came out in the first half and did not look great. But before the game, I heard two things underneath the Frostbank Center. One of these things did not surprise me. The other one did. First thing I heard was rumblings that Victor Wembanyama had just gone through like the most rigorous and intense and focused and accurate and long pregame routine that they've ever seen from him. That did not surprise me. He was apparently asking to repeat drills. He was running the length of the court at game speed. He was locked in, right? That did not surprise me given the history with the Knicks and the last 5 games or so for the Spurs team, right? And then I heard a public service announcement from Just Blaze and the good people at Rockefeller Records. And Jay-Z said, "Allow me to reintroduce myself," and I was like, "They're playing the Knicks tonight." Like Hove should kind of be off limits the same way like when you're playing against a guy who has a signature shoe and usually you wear his shoe. You don't wear that when you're guarding Kevin Durant. You switch it up, right? And anybody from New York gets a stat boost from like measurable to superhero level when you play anything from the Black Album, right? Luckily, Julian Champagny is from Brooklyn, and that guy broke a Spurs record.
Not Staten Island. Not
Not
Staten
Staten
Island.
Island,
He's from
born in
Brooklyn.
Staten, from Brooklyn.
He's from Brooklyn. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. He went off, as they say back home. Um, Franchise record that lasted 28 years and 1 day. Chuck Person came off the bench and hit 9 threes in a game, which is nuts. It's nuts that record stood for as long as it did. And they needed all of it in a really tight game. First half was not pretty. Second half, it was like Mitch said they started putting their energy in the right places, right? And I really want to just dig into the numbers here on this Julian record-setting performance. he had 11 threes in this game, which has only happened 42 times in NBA history. Uh, how many of those 42 games do you think belong to Steph Curry?
At least half.
18.
It's 16. It's about 38%.
Oh,
If you
fuck.
put Klay Thompson in there with him, it's 20 of the 42, which is
Fucking
just crazy,
Spurs.
crazy perspective.
Yeah.
In this game, the Spurs, like I said, needed all of it. Champagny was 11 for 17 from three in this game. Wemby was 2 of 2 from three. The rest of the Spurs were 1 for 19. So they needed it all. And if you watch this
Well,
highlight, man,
Champagny was given that Devin Vassell green light. Devin at the
yes.
beginning of the season was like, "Yeah, they get mad at me if like I don't shoot it." I was like, "Julian Champagny, you have the green light for that tonight."
And that's something that I should have mentioned earlier, but yeah, Devin Vassell, uh, adductor tightness, out for this game and probably a little longer. Julian Champagny will be the starter. Unless they decide to bench him because he wasn't that impressive in this game. But I don't think that that's a danger at this point.
11 or 17. We need more, buddy. We need more.
Watch the highlight. Watch the clip of all of his 11 makes. He dribbled it 3 times, and one of the times was completely unnecessary. He was just so wide open. He was like, I should probably just bounce this once. It was like prime Klay Thompson type beat, and everything was in the flow. There was nothing forced. There was nothing ran for him. It was just the ball finding him and him shooting it and the ball going in, and just a huge emotional response for this team in the fourth quarter after Wemby suffers that injury, right? To go out there and have Champagny knock down those shots and Fox down the stretch, um, you know, 19-point comeback for the Spurs, biggest comeback of the year for the Spurs, worst collapse of the year for the Knicks, who won every single game this year that they led heading into the fourth quarter up until this point. Just a huge, huge comeback for the Spurs in this one.
We had
Yep.
we had to
Also,
combat
just hold on, real quick. 31 points, 24 minutes for Vic. He was playing lights out on this too.
he was unbelievable last night.
But let's move on to Tom's new segment that he's introduced to us called the Hyperbolic Chamber. Now, last week, this was right after those big wins against the Thunder. So it was pretty apropos to be like, we're not going to high praise. We're doing hyperbolic chamber. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Um, this week, maybe it's a little more toned down, but this is a great place where we can get off some takes. So, um, Tom, I'll let you go first here in the hyperbolic chamber. We're going to strap you in, and we are going to put clamps on your nipples and we're going to crank up the electricity here. Give us your hyperbolic take.
I think if he did that, it would be like the type of situation where the energy like courses through my body and then gets shot back through the cables into the battery and explodes the battery. And people would be like, I didn't know he could do that. I can. It's like Kevin Gatesian, the way that I conduct electricity. But I have a take, and it's that game last night that we watched, Spurs Knicks, is the NBA Finals preview this year, 2026. I think these two teams play each other for the Larry.
They're
And
going for the LOB.
I think that's not insane to say. First of all, I think it would be great for the league. I think that it's these teams play bangers against each other, right? The Knicks have been starving for so long. They're a great team this year. Mike Brown has those guys playing awesome, super talented. They're a fascinating matchup for this Spurs team with their physicality and athleticism and length and size, and the Mitchell Robinson of it all, who was not playing in this last game and made a difference in the cup game.
Tom, you're really just saying you want to meet Timothy Chalamet
I, d-
and,
I do.
you know,
What's an
yeah.
excuse to go to New York in June?
I would love to go home
Dude, go
and
to New
cover
York.
NBA Finals games at Madison Square Garden, man. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Won't
I'm
New
be
not.
York
wouldn't
in
be wouldn't
June
be better than
sounds
that.
like it sucks. I mean,
Wrong.
it's hot, it's
Let's
swampy.
see. Here we go. Let's see what it says. Here we
Uh,
go.
New York superiority culture. I do want to show off. I got this at a Maggie Rogers show. I couldn't believe that they made this, just given how litigious James Dolan, owner of the Knicks, is. But um, think about the games that these teams have played against each other. Christmas Day last year, the Cup final, the Sandro Mamukelashvili Flava Flav game, last night's
They bring
tremendous
out they
comeback.
bring out the best.
Jalen 60 burger, Wemby 40 plus in the win. Like these teams play awesome basketball
They
against
do.
each other. It would be I think it's the most exciting possible finals matchup, and that's like so I think it's gonna happen. That's where I'm at.
Okay. What do you got, Zach?
All right. Since we're on record-breaking threes, I know Wimby loves his teammates. Wimby has a record, or Wimby's most threes in a game is 8. Julian, I think your record might be in trouble after you give Victor a reason to, you're like, ooh. And then with a knee injury like he just had, he might be a little, first few games, might not want to go in the lane as much. He's going to be ripping some threes. That record might be in trouble because Victor, as of late, has been hitting his threes.
I did not eight threes in a game for that guy is crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy
8.
sauce.
Cat, and he did that like 28 minutes last year. He could have easily hit 11 if it was a good game.
Yeah, that's
Man,
kind of nutty.
when do you
And
think he'll
like
do it,
his
Zach?
shot this season is gonna happen, and
He
and like his shot last night was looking pure as shit too. So like
he
keep
apparently was
ripping them.
shooting
Hold on,
lasers
hold
in his
on,
pregame.
hold on, Zach. Pure as shit.
It's a play on words. You understand? Pure as a diamond.
Pure as the driven snow.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. I Wemby had a lot of like crazy plays in this 3 game stretch. I think one of the funniest and one that was like I tweeted it out like Dr. James Naismith would explode if he saw this because he's not in the frame, right? He's like at the logo basically in the square video. You can't see him, and the ball the ball flies out, and into the frame steps this 7'5" dude who grabs the ball and like takes a running floater from 3 point range and drills it, and it's like, oh, this guy is different. He's on some other shit. He's
I
really
think that
really
was the most
crazy.
viral tweet from the week. That what it should have been when he yammed on three Jazz players. That was
yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, that
yeah.
was
That
fun.
was
And then
He did a
last
lot of
night
crazy
he went
stuff.
NBA Jam style on that one where he like cocked it back and like threw it down.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's been incredibly potent. He had a couple of really fun lob finishes in the last game. You know, the obviously the high flying and the leaping for a player that huge is crazy. But there was a lot like there was one with Harrison Barnes where it was very nuanced relocation. He found the soft spot where
Oh
nobody
yeah.
could get it, and the chemistry is going up. And like we said earlier in the show, Steph Castle and Luke Cornett is like a really potent pick and roll combination. Like you thought De'Aaron Fox and Wemby was going to be good pick and roll. Wait till you see Steph Castle and Luke Cornett because that is fun hoop, man. Really fun hoop.
That's good. Well,
What's
here's my
yours?
take. We're putting the clamps on my nipples now.
Oh wow.
Um, look, this is more of kind of probably more of a pep talk to, all of our fans out there of the team. Losses are a good thing for this young team. Losses are good. It's okay to get punched in the mouth every once in a while. It's okay to once again show, oh, okay. The Jazz are shooting crazy from three. Uh, they had a really great game plan of negating Wemby. That I'll be interested to see if other teams do that. Losses are good, especially right now in this meat of the schedule. December was crazy. January is going to be pretty crazy, especially with the four back-to-backs that this team has. Losses are going to happen. Losses are good. Losses help with response to them. So I think as much as everybody has gotten used to this team hopefully maintaining a vibe for themselves, that that a loss helps. A loss is good for growth. I think sometimes Mitch Johnson likes getting a loss after a couple of big wins because he probably sees them being a little too high in their own supply.
He
And I'll
puts in the
just,
call to Will
say
Hardy, and he's
this.
like, "Yo, tell your guys to shoot 70% from three in this one. We're a little too high on the hog right now."
Well, I mean, man, like it's one of those things where I think if people are like asking, like, do they read their own press clippings or not? One, like they probably do, but also we've been in those press conferences this year, especially after wins. Everybody in that room is feeling themselves. Everyone. You can feel it from the team. All the reporters are happy, and they're just like, "Man, like, how did you play so well tonight? Oh my God!" They ask like, "Hey, what happened out there? You guys kicked their ass." Like,
Oh, what it's
it's
like to
not
not
even one of
have your
those things.
shit stink.
It's not one of those things where like they don't have to go out of their way. Like they're being told like very publicly like, "Wow, you guys are pretty good, huh?"
Yeah, they don't
Um
just they make their press clippings, and
yeah. So losses are good. Losses are actually a good thing for this team, especially for how young they are. This helps sharpen iron.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think that when you it's a new thing, right? There's a lot that the Spurs have not done yet. As well as they've played this year, as impressive as these wins against the Thunder and now the Knicks, and Denver and the Lakers and all of these other amazing things that they've done this year, there's a lot that they haven't done yet. One of those things is play with the expectation that they're going to win pretty much every game that they play in, right? Um, they are the hunted now. They have a target on their back
Yeah.
every single game. They have a target on their front. They have a target on their face.
I mean, to be fair, they've kind of been that ever since Wemby came into the league. He was anointed as the next one, and people have been like, and we have seen throughout his very young career like these glimpses, these flashes, like oh my God, and he's still putting it together. But like everybody has, I mean, Joel Embiid put up like what 70 points on him. Remember,
Yes.
Joel Embiid like on one knee put up 70 points on him, and then didn't play again the rest of the
The
year.
target has been
It was
on the
just like I just want to
Spurs.
make a point,
The
you know.
I hear it. I don't disagree with that part of it. They have had a target on them, right? The difference is now they've still got that target on them, but there's the expectation that they will do the Denzel like flip the gun around thing, and
Yeah,
like they are the team that you know it's not just I'm going to prove myself against this young guy who everybody's talking so great about. It's, oh, they're the best team in the league, which is a different,
yeah.
it's if I may
But
go
to
back
be
Let's
to
hold on. Let's. This is going to transition into our questions for the week, but to keep things moving, let's use this to transition into the first question that we have for the week. So here it is. Are you confident, calm, concerned, or crashing out after the Spurs' last three games? And Zach, how about you go off first?
I'm extremely calm. I mean, it's a long season, and for us to expect greatness 82 nights a year is a lot. It's a This team came off a a crazy month of basketball. Context matters. We touched on how big these games are they played in, and you're bound to have a letdown or two. You're bound to have nights where the shot doesn't fall, where you're cold. This is basketball. It's a make or miss league. To say that they had a lot of bad shots in that Cleveland game is wrong. I feel like they got some good looks. In that Jazz game, yeah, I do feel like there was some. I don't think anxiety is the right word. I just feel like they were chasing the game a little bit out of the second quarter, which is you expect to win. And even in both those games, the Spurs made a valiant effort to get back in the game. Like it wasn't like they got yes, they had bad moments in those games, but they were in those games, both of them, and either got themselves back in it or were playing in the game the whole time. So I'm calm. There's nothing to be like mad about, upset about. It took them about 3 quarters yesterday to finally get the legs back. I tweeted that they need to figure out somebody to bring energy. There needed to be, it can't just be Wimby every single night. We've seen how that goes over the last 2 years. Julian Champagne stepped up. That there needs to be certain nights these guys are going to step up. Another guy added to the list of leading scorer in a victory for the Spurs over this month. I think that's 9 now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you in being calm. Um, we're still seeing the same problems with this team that we've seen all year. It was just illuminated in those games, specifically around the perimeter defense, but we still know that rebounding is an issue with this team. And I think I saw Matt Guzman tweeted earlier this week about like asking people out like what the Spurs needed, and there was a lot of like they need shooting, they need shooting, they need shooting, and I don't think so. I think right now, really, the Spurs have everything they need to be successful in the run in their run. Um, there just needs to be more focus on rebounding for them. Just win the possession battle, and you're gonna win most games anyway. They're already a pretty efficient offensive team compared to the rest of the league. I believe they're top 10 in that still. So I am calm right now. Tom, what about you?
I am a new word that I invented for this, confident. It combines calm and confident into one succinct word that is both calm and confident. Uh, Bad losses happen to everybody, right? If teams were disqualified from contender contention based on bad losses, we would have no contenders in the NBA because all of these guys are really talented. All of these teams can win a game. Um, the Spurs have proven that they are among the league's elite, right? Overall record, the quality wins. Um, losing bad losing to bad teams is not a habit for the Spurs this year. They've done pretty well in the games that they're quote unquote supposed to win, right? And I think that a lot of people, especially after the Thunder games, to follow that up with back-to-back losses at home, it was easy to be like, well, emotional letdown. They got up for the big game, but they, couldn't get up for the Utah Jazz. And it's like, first of all, Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen are really, really good, really excellent basketball players. They're hot. The Jazz had just beaten the Pistons, right? They're a good team. And then also like the process, while Mitch Johnson had his complaints about it, the process was pretty good. I don't think that the Spurs lost against the Jazz or the Cavs because they didn't get up for the games. I think that there was something to what Mitch was talking about with the anxiety, right? Like there was an expectation of winning and you're losing the game, and now it's like we've got to crawl out of this hole and win this game, and it's like no, dude, you've got to box out and make passes that are on time and on target, and whatever. It's back to being process oriented, right? Whatever the
He said the other day, we got to stop trying to make 6 point plays, which is
absolutely.
I think pretty good
And they haven't
part of
in this
that.
year in this season they haven't had a lot of situations where they've felt like they needed that sort of scoring avalanche to get back in a game because they've led or been in close games for a lot of the time.
Yeah. Let's go to the next one. We've already talked about our podcast resolution, but what's your Spurs New Year's resolution?
I got one. I think that while the Spurs do have a bit of everything that they need, I think that there may be an opportunity come trade deadline to make an impact acquisition for this Spurs team. And I think that if that deal is there to be had without disrupting, you know, the core 9-man rotation, essentially, I think that the Spurs are going to have to strongly consider that. Zach, what do you got?
Position?
Oh, position for a
Yeah,
trade. I
yeah.
think uh, a switchable 3 and D wing. Um,
Okay. All right. Fair. Zach,
yeah,
what do you got?
I was just gonna say more wins, but as I sit here and think, I would like the coaching staff, who now has a less than 50% record on challenges this year. We need to pick up that pace. We need to be a little better back there behind the bench, video guy, whoever's on that. I need. The numbers are speaking to me, and they're not good right now. We need we
So
need we
get
need
better
over
on
like a 70. We need like a
challenges.
75%. Yeah, right now it's like a 45%. We're losing possessions.
Oof.
Mitch John and people think Mitch Johnson's the one doing it. There have been some where he's emotional, but it's a lot of it's from the video guy in the back saying challenge it, and so
I love the one where he was. It was in the Cup final against the Knicks game, and
emotional.
it
It
was
got
the cornet
yeah.
screen or the roll where Kolek flopped, and he challenged it, and then was like really screaming at the refs in a way that got a technical, and so he won the challenge, but got teed up in the process.
Won the challenge,
That
lost a
was
three
tight.
point shot, and lost a yeah. That was as brutal as it gets.
Yeah. Um, for me, I mean, I just want the health of this team to I know they're able to fight through that, but like I just want them to have more uh full roster health. And if that means Wemby's on a minutes restriction until the playoffs, like so be it. They know how to weather things with him on the court and without him. So, last question here. Um, and let's try and keep it succinct just because we got still some game previews to do. But favorite Spurs moment of 2025. I'll kick this one off. 5-0 to start the year, I think was my favorite moment. And part of it was I think that was kind of the first announcement to the league um, of how good they were. And when I started looking at the league and the way that things were already shaking out so quickly, I was like, man, if we just truly play 500 ball the rest of the season after this, like we're in the playoffs, So that 5-0 stretch was, I think, just kind of like paramount to the initial success of especially this team for 2025. So I'll go with that one. What do you got, Zach?
I think the Austin game last year. This is more personal podcast related, I guess, but my favorite memory is that I think with we got to cover the game that Wimby was, officially ruled out of the season, and I think for me being there, it was a crash course on like being in the industry and being in this world. Um, and looking back on it now, I hope I don't have a another hectic day like that on on another first job or just another day on this job itself because that was hectic. But I learned a lot, so I think for me, I took a lot from those 3 days here in Austin, and those mean the world to me.
Because that just to make it clear, you were flying solo for the first time ever on that day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You were at shoot around expecting a normal shoot around,
yeah. You ask questions, get some footage.
and they came out and said Victor Wembanyama is done for the season. And so, yeah, that's one of my favorite podcast memories. Obviously, the Austin games, but specifically watching you navigate that
No
was
phone service either. You
really
can't call
really
anyone
cool.
downstairs. It was like, all right, I can't tell the boys that it's good. They're just gonna have to trust me on this one.
It was yeah, no, and excited for the Austin games coming up this year during the rodeo road
Hmm.
trip. Um, I have a couple just on a like on an organizational level. A lot of things changed for the Spurs this year. This was, um, you know, that 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 winning streak was great to start the season. The stuff against the Thunder this year has been awesome. The Cup, the Christmas Day, all of that stuff. But it's a result of what they've done uh, on a process level as an organization that has gotten to them to this point. The trade for De'Aaron Fox, I think, is a monumental, you know, inflection point for this team in terms of okay, we're going for it now. I think that the Luke Cornett acquisition, which already people are like, oh my God, look at Luke Cornett's contract, that's amazing, he's playing so good. Those things have led to the success that we're seeing, as well as internal growth. Rookie of the Year, Steph Castle, getting up to second for Dylan Harper. The growth from really all of these guys as they're put
Tom,
in
what's your
situations.
favorite moment? You're literally naming everything that happened this year. What is your
Yeah, just
favorite?
give us
Yeah,
a
What's your
2025
favorite?
season
Just
I'm
one.
recap.
cheating. It
Just
was the
one.
Sandro Mamukelashvili Flava Flav game. Final answer.
Okay. That was a great.
That boy gave you the whole runaround.
It,
It's
nothing will
like,
top that. Nothing will top that.
Tom, what is your favorite moment of 2025?
Here's
All
everything
of
that
them.
happened, Darren.
And here's everything that.
January,
Deal with
February.
it.
Let me give my March, my April.
I'm indecisive, and they did a lot of good things.
You
Sue
know,
me.
what's
Sue me.
funny. You know what's funny is that Tom wrote this question.
Yeah, I did. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, that was good too. It was all good.
Well, wasn't all
So,
good, but yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I sincerely like stuff. I forgot that men aren't
Oh,
allowed to do
yeah,
that.
now we're
I
now
thought we
we're
were. I
good.
thought we
Now
were
we're gonna pull that
leaving.
card.
This sort of
No, no,
backwards and reductive
Yeah,
thinking
okay.
in
Right.
2025.
Tom,
Wrap it up.
we're not talking about
Gaslighting
that.
was left in
Tom,
2025 too.
I'm
yeah,
being bullied. I'm
okay.
being bullied, and it's fine. Let's move on.
I'm not going to have you weaponize victimization on this podcast, Tom. Now let's get into this next week's slate of games. All right, it's going to be weird because this team has got two back-to-backs. They do actually have days off in between games. And yeah, so it's going to be very strange. As we already told you, Wemby is not even traveling with the team to Indiana. This is not your Indiana Pacers team from last year, mainly because Tyrese Halliburton is hurt, but so is Obi Toppin. Um, they're just not very good. There's not really a statistical category that they're better at the Spurs in anything, but this is a Rick Carlisle coach team. I am concerned, not worried, but I'm concerned that the Jazz might have put together a little bit of a playbook on how to attack Wemby when they're going into the zone where he is guarding mostly the restricted area. And that was specifically what the Jazz did was they did shots, they did teardrops in between the free throw line and the restricted area right before Wemby could pop out. This team has dudes that can do that. We also have 3-point shooters, but they're also not very good. So, I mean, what do you guys got on this one?
Worst team in the league. Take care of business. I mean, these are under 500 games have been Achilles heel for the Spurs last year. This year they've shirted up a little bit. Take care of business. This is one of those early tips. It's a weird tip off, and it feels like it's a Sunday today, so it feels like it's a Monday game, but it's a Friday game. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah, what do you got, Tom?
with all due respect to the Indiana Pacers, the Spurs have got to crush them in this game. Like you can't play around. Uh, I I think T.J. McConnell was listed as questionable. That guy scares the hell out of me, man. There's some guys that like, I don't care if he's a career backup who averages like 9 points a game. Like Jordan Clarkson scares the
Yeah,
crap out of me, dude.
yeah.
T.J. McConnell is another one of those guys. So, yeah, but
We should do a list
we'll
off
get there.
season off season thing. We do a list of guys, random guys that scare us in the
Yes,
league.
that is yes,
We'll create
absolutely.
hater profiles for them, of course. Okay. I love that. Um, Next game, so that's in Indianapolis, and then they will come back to San Antonio the next day to play the Blazers. Um, people around the internet are saying that SGA is a flopper and a foul baiter. My friends, can I introduce you to Denny Avdia? Because boy, howdy, does this guy get a whistle, and I don't really understand it. Um, but he knows how to flail. The refs like to blow the whistle for him. And when you look at his numbers, you're like, hey, this guy's pretty good. And he is pretty good, but he's also gaming the refs.
I mean,
Um,
he's like borderline all-star this year. Like fan vote aside, like he's in that, you know, 12 to 15 conversation, right? Really, 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 and Klingon, Steph Castle's UConn teammate, Donovan Klingon, really, really impressive. The team defense kind of falls apart when he goes to the bench, which it's weird for such a young player to have such an impact on the team. Kind of see the same thing with Memphis with Zach Edey, who's like
mhm.
turned out to be a really excellent NBA player already. Who knew? Um, but yeah, this is for the amount of defensive talent that this Portland team has with like Kamara and like all of these like kind of quick twitchy defensive guys. They don't play very good defense. So home cooking for the Spurs, they're going to need to really execute against a team that Tiago Splitter has been playing all right ball. Shout out Tiago.
Yeah, they'll be coming off a back-to-back against the Pelicans as well. So it will be a battle of jelly legs in this game. A couple other notable injuries for this team. Not sure about Drew Holiday. He has another kind of lower extremity calf injury right now. Jeremy Grant dealing with an Achilles, not an Achilles tear, but Achilles. So I imagine they're going to be, even though I believe he's listed as day to day, I imagine they're going to be pretty careful with him as well um, for this game. They're also 4-6 in their last 10. They can get down in the muck with you still. I think they're in 10th place in the play-in. So not really sure fully what they're trying to do just yet as an organization, but look, Tumani Kamara is going to be in this game, and I know that that guy likes to play defense as well and lock up some fools. What do you got on this one, Zach?
You said that it's reported that Victor will be questionable for this game.
Yes, Mike Seawright, citing a source, said that he would likely be listed as questionable for the home game against Portland.
Look, Portland, we know what they're gonna do. We played them already once a season. They're gonna beat you up a little bit. They're gonna play physical. Danny's good. I mean, AB, I do like the description you made of him, but I mean he can play. Spurs got lucky last time he missed 6 free throws in the fourth quarter in a row. Let's not forget about that. So if he wants to go to the line,
Well, Tiago Splitter played him too much in the last game.
he
He
died.
messed up his rotation, and his legs left him because he was torturing us for 3 quarters.
Yep.
That fourth quarter, he went cold as hell.
Yeah, you ever
So that
we
that's
we've
just
all
like
been
new
there,
coach
AB.
shit for you, though.
AB, we've been
Yeah.
there. You run, you play three really good games of pickup, and they're like, hey, you want to play one more? And you're like, yeah, I'll play one more. And then the fourth one, you just can't move. You're like, I shouldn't have played the fourth one. I look like a scrub out of here. Yeah. So let's hope that just a back to back, they're racing back to San Antonio. Who will land first? who will get home. You know, they're coming from New Orleans. We're coming from Indiana. Let's see who can get to San Antonio International Airport first and get the most rest.
Soon to be known as Greg Popovich Airport, I
Oh,
believe.
well,
So,
respect to the
um,
man.
Is that happening?
I don't know, but it is fun to just say that.
I thought you were breaking news to me on this podcast. I thought you got
Tom,
Well,
you
sleepy
literally
hold.
like
there is some legislation on that, but let's go to the next one. Speaking of legislation, this has nothing to do with it, so it's not the best segue. Um, later next week, we're going to play the Memphis Grizzlies. And, well, this is going to be in Memphis, which I think has some of the best in-game basketball operations out there. Whenever you airball or you miss a free throw and you hear, nope, look, I just think San Antonio needs to adopt something like that when someone tries to go at Wemby and they rethink their entire life. Uh,
I was gonna
Spurs
say
ops team, free idea.
Wemby does the in arena sound for when somebody else misses a free throw. It's just
That
him
is true.
yelling.
Huh?
it's a one man
Like,
band for that one.
Yes.
yeah, but this Grizzlies team, they're they're coming on a little bit. John Morant is back playing with the team. He's not as explosive as he once was, but he's still able to get in the lane. He still finds new ways to get around whatever weapon celebration he's not supposed to do, which I find endlessly hilarious. Um, and
Speaking of which,
they have a really
it looked like Champagne pulled out a very big gun last night after he hit his 10. He didn't aim it at anybody, he aimed it at the ground, but it looked heavy.
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean he's so used to the arrow, uh but this team, Zach Edey is, I believe, not going to be playing in this game. He was supposed to be reevaluated in 4 weeks, and we're hitting that 4 week mark of just the reevaluation for him. But I mean, I think that initial injury was like 4 to 6 weeks, but they played a really entertaining game the other night against the 76ers, where VJ Edgecombe uh, hit a walk-off three-pointer in overtime for 139 to 136 against this team. And the Sixers are a pretty good team. So this is not one to sleep on with them right now. What do you guys got?
The Grizzlies are like kind of shockingly middle of the road given all of the like drama and seeming dysfunction that has happened there this year so far. They're like 15 and 18 as of this recording. Um, they did lose to the Wizards twice in the month of December, which is yikes. Uh, the Spurs have beaten these guys twice without Wemby, but they got kind of a scare from them in that game where Harrison Barnes needed 31, and the Spurs really needed to like, grab their necks in the last few minutes and close it out. So it's one of those, like you said, you can't sleep on it. You gotta be prepared, and I think that the Spurs have learned some lessons about that in the last little bit here. Um, you know, what else can you do except prepare adequately and run your process right? And this is a game to focus on that. Wemby admitted, it may be easier to lose sight of the little things in some of
Yeah,
these other games, which I thought was a really interesting thing for him to say this week. Zach, what about you?
yeah. What do you got, Zach?
We finally get to see Ja versus Wemby. For like the last few times these teams have played, we've either had Ja hurt, Wemby hurt. I'm excited to see this. I know last year the dunk didn't count, but Wemby wants to get his lick back. I want Wemby to get his lick back. The amount of texts I got from Grizzlies fans, because I know a few Grizzlies fans, like the dunk counted. I'm like, just shut up. You won the game. The dunk didn't count though. Like, come on. It looked cool, but it didn't count. So Wemby, I need you to like stuff somebody in the locker is like bully talk. I need you to like stuff him through the hoop while you block him. I think that would make the most sense.
No, nobody
Like
Is that
block
wants
him,
not
but
that.
then
bully talk?
no, but I'm saying in basketball terms, I'm trying to like we need to stuff
Oh,
you
okay.
through like the block
Right
pin on the
through the hoop.
backboard and then like stuff like have your own dunk him through the hoop.
Nobody wants to get dunked on and then be like, well, actually, it didn't count.
Right,
That you'll just get made fun of worse
right.
there.
So you just got to eat it.
Yeah, you just gotta hold that
Look,
L and move on.
look, word to the wise, if you're on the internet and you're doing well, actually, you lost the argument.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
done. No, well,
Tom
actually,
did a perfect impression of what everybody sounds like when they're going, well, actually, it's just like, actually, yeah,
And for the
yeah, it
record,
sounds like this.
for the
Eh.
record, I was doing that 100% with all of the Knicks media folks. I was like, yeah, during that 8 game winning streak, they had like 8 different guys, lead the team in scoring, and they were like, but they lost to the Knicks, and I was like, well, actually, that didn't count.
well,
Um,
factually,
actually, factually,
Factually.
technically,
Speaking of factuals, as I'm transitioned very badly to our last game that we'll close this out on,
I was gonna say,
uh,
dude, New Year's resolution, work on your transitions, because the one going into the Grizzlies one, that was perfect. That was exactly what it needed.
no, I think I've done pretty good on my transitions, but it's been difficult today. So, whatever. It's anyway. Spurs at the Lakers. All right. Uh, LeBron James still plays basketball, but maybe he's not the LeBron James that we know because he's 41 years old and he's had sciatica earlier this week,
jeez.
earlier this season, I should say. Um, Austin Reeves is not playing because his ankle is pretty hurt. And JJ Redick keeps going in every press conference and just vaguely throwing his team under the bus. And then everybody's putting up about their defense. And then everybody's going to, you know, the video and they're like, is he talking about Luca? Is he talking about LeBron? And it's like, what if he's talking about both? Because neither one of them are playing defense. Um, Yeah, this team it's not quite in a free fall because they're still in the top six in the West right now. Like they're there, but they seem much worse than they are. And Rui Hachimura's out, so that could also be kind of a problem with them. What do
And
you got,
and
Zach?
and
It
Reeves,
sounds
right?
like you're ready to pop off. Reeves
Fellas,
is out. Reeves is out.
yeah,
Yeah.
fellas. It's nice, we go throughout our daily lives complaining about our job, complaining how life could be better, complaining how our coworkers could be better in certain situations. And you're like, well, these NBA coaches, they get paid millions. There's no reason they should complain and feel that. Nope. JJ Redick, just like any normal American, complains about his coworkers not doing enough, not taking credit for, not taking accountability for maybe poor coaching on his end. He's just saying that to call a bunch of people out. So it's nice to see that millionaire basketball coaches can also be miserable in their workspace.
It's weird to say that, like, I almost kind of, uh, you know, empathize because it's like, man, it's not the easiest coaching situation, right? It seems crazy to say that about a team that's got Luka Doncic and LeBron James on it, and Austin Reeves turning into, like, a legit star player. But have you guys watched the games lately with LeBron? Because, like, you know, and I love LeBron. I respect LeBron so much. Um, he just turned 41, and he looks so rough right now that, like, it got me thinking, and I was like, it's probably time for me to schedule a colonoscopy. Just if LeBron is playing like this, I'm
If
probably at that age.
if you're out for a sciatica, hang it up.
I
Hang it
didn't
up.
I didn't mean to laugh, but it is
Hang it
like
up. That's old
it's
You
people
guys
tough.
want
shit.
to know what? You guys want to know what the weirdest thing about this team is? JJ Redick making his children write persuasive essays for presents for Christmas. JJ Redick, I right here, buddy. Okay? In this show we say tell your friends, tell your enemies. JJ Redick, enemy of the pod because you're the coach of the Lakers. Don't do that. That's weird shit, man.
It's
Just
it's a
love your children.
it's a
Give them
performance
presents for
review. I
Christmas.
I
You're a
love the idea.
millionaire.
I saw something that was
Like,
like I saw well, first of all, do we know if they were sending it to Santa or to JJ? But second of all, I think it's
Tom, hold on.
very
I'm not done with my rant. I don't give a
okay.
shit. And also, JJ Redick, those tattoos you have are whack. All right. I used to
Oh,
listen to your podcast and you were like talking about, oh yeah, I have the lyrics for this band over here. Like Silver Sun pickups? Bro, get better music taste. Like, seriously.
I didn't.
JJ, you used to be an Austin resident. I'm really glad you're not here. You went to Brooklyn to be weird. Now you're in LA to be weirder. Get the hell out of here,
I
oh,
man.
this
did
is
Get the
not
this is
hell
know
out of
like
you
here.
harbored
JJ
such
Redick hate.
deep
Yeah,
resentment for JJ
there is
Redick.
hate in that.
That was.
Look, I just don't think you should do that type of thing to your children, man.
I don't.
You
I don't
know?
either. It's. I saw a tweet today that was like, stop giving me a performance review at work. If I do something bad, let me know. Don't make me write about what a good job I did,
Right.
during the year, right? And it's just
Yeah,
I
funny that
did
man.
he's like
this. You're my
instituting
father.
that
You know what
culture
I
with his
did.
kids. It's great. I love that.
It's just
Um,
weird to be like, like, oh, what's one of his kids' name? Like, oh, so like, what does your dad do? Oh, my dad's the coach of the Lakers. Like, amazing! You must have this amazing life and experience, and like, your dad must, really, take you and care about you. He's like, actually, he makes me write persuasive essays for my Christmas presents.
it's about setting a standard. It's about setting a standard of excellence.
That Duke
And
education.
they're
Oh
and
my
the
God, get
Lakers.
get get out of here with all that shit. All right, look,
The
we're
Lakers are rough. The Lakers are rough right now. They've lost 4 of their last 5 as of this recording. They are kind of searching for answers. So, yeah, good team when they can be. Spurs got a win over them when they were good in the NBA Cup when they were playing at least at a higher level. But yeah, this should be a fun game. Fun game.
well, fellas. What? Okay, 4 games this next week. What do we got? Also, back to back on that Lakers game for them too. So, um, yeah. What do we got record wise this week?
I think they go 3-1.
Okay,
3-1 for me as
Zach.
well.
Oh, man, we're all gonna agree here, huh? I think 3-1 is actually pretty feasible. So I'm gonna go 3-1 as well.
What's the game you
And I'm
think
sorry that's
is
not as
what's the most likely loss?
That Grizzlies
Memphis.
game. Yeah, that Grizzlies game.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I think
I think the
Memphis is the
Blazers
most
could be tough
likely.
also. Blazers game could be
It,
tough.
it's gonna be back to back for them. So I
Yeah.
expect to see some deep roster stuff on that. Maybe some Jeremy Sohan minutes, which I know some of our listeners are gonna be really excited about. So keep standing up. Um, all right, y'all. We're at the end of the show. What do you guys got to say before we dip out?
Let's go, man. Let's keep winning games. Keep stacking dubs. We got great news with Victor and his knee, so use that as a positive going into 2026. That even things that look bad in the moment might not be as bad as you think. So head up 2026. Here we are.
Yeah, man.
Huh?
I'm excited to watch this run to the trade deadline and to the All-Star break and to the postseason. To the second half is going to be really really exciting stuff in San Antonio. So excited to see it. Excited to share it with all of you. Uh, I'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, tell your friends and enemies. Aaron,
And
last
and
word for the
Tom
people.
will be out here, and Tom will be out here documenting everything that happens in 2026 in regards to the
Yes.
Spurs, and he will love every minute of it.
So come back next
Last
year
thing I
this
got,
time, and you'll get the whole rundown.
last thing I got to say before dipping out. The song "What If God Was One of Us" was not written when Victor Wembanyama was alive, and now we know what it would be like if he was a stranger on the bus. With that being said, we're really excited that y'all are here. I just wanted to end it a little strangely today. My segues have not been well. And so with that being said, peace.